right, man, we're good to go.
We're good to go. What is going on, everybody? We are back. Two nerds are better than one. I am Ron DC. I got my co-host with me.
Mr. Awesome.
Yeah, sorry guys, we were MIA last week. I didn't feel good. It's all my fault. It was just a crappy day.
Yeah,
And
how
then
you
I ate
feeling, man?
something. I'm better. I'm way better.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I think I had a cold, and I had ate something that didn't agree with me. So, and luckily I found like another like home remedy. My throat was like feeling like just itchy and stuff like that. Like I was trying to get a cold. My friend said, "Hey, gargle some warm water." I only known to do that when like you when you're a kid and you miss a tooth, like a tooth comes out, gargle
Mm-hmm.
warm water with salt.
Oh,
So
really?
my friend's like, "No, try go some warm kind of hot water with some salt that kills the bacteria in your throat." And sure enough, it cleared my throat out like in the next hour. So that helped out, and I just needed that rest that day. So I'm a lot better, way better.
Okay.
Yes,
Good to hear.
sir. But yeah, jump right into it. We got so much to catch up on.
All
So
right, what are we starting with?
let's start with Bad Batch.
Okay.
We'll start with Bad Batch, yeah, because DC has a lot of stuff going on, and we
Yeah, and
could
you had a lot of episodes to catch up on too. We got to start with the race
the
and move
race.
up.
Was it called Faster? Is
Something
that what it's
like
called?
that.
Yeah. So, it wasn't pod racing. It got this other type of racing going on.
Yeah.
So you want to jump on that? You know what? You know what? I don't know if you ever played any of the Star Wars games. What's it called? Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played that one?
Yeah, but not to its completion because that's like an
Okay, yeah,
old school RPG, right?
yeah. They have it on. It's everywhere now. I think they have it on. You can download it on like the consoles. I have it on my. I first played it on
It
PC.
might even be on the Switch now, I think.
It is. It is. They have both of them. That's the Old Republic 1 and 2. So they actually the reason why I brought it up because they
Okay.
have that race in that game. You
Oh,
just can't
really?
shoot people. Yeah, you just can't shoot people. It's just a race where you go through
Yeah,
obstacles and stuff like that.
but with those
But
types of
anyways,
vehicles. Cool.
yeah. So you want to talk about that episode?
Sure. I mean, it starts out, I don't know exactly where it goes because it's been a while since I've seen it now, but basically, it looks like Sid owes a debt of some sort to this guy named
Mm-hmm.
Alegi, who's like somebody who she used to know. He's like this big dude who looks dangerous. I'm just
Yeah.
like, go into the Bad Batch, just take him out, you know, but you don't want to start any trouble. But anyway, so she feels like she's gonna get even when she like does this race, right? And you meet this robot named Teo, who's like hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
He's played by I don't know the actor's name, but he's from Parks and Rec. He was John Raffio in Parks and
Okay.
Rec.
I thought it sounded familiar.
Yeah, I had to look it up as soon as I heard him talk. But they go in this race, and basically Teo just gets like he's killing it, right? And then in the end, they hit him with this move called the Venom Crunch, where like one
Mm-hmm.
gets in front of him and one gets behind him, and he like
Sandwich him.
yeah, right, and he like grapple hooks one, and then the other guy comes back and like just tears him apart. So he gets like
Yeah.
wrecked twice, by the way, in this episode. They repair him, and well, by the way, she loses the race. So basically, the Bad Batch or Omega really starts some trouble. She's like double or nothing. You know what I mean? For like the yeah, you know that's always trouble, right?
Right.
Double or nothing is never good. You're in real deep with double or nothing. So they have to do the race again. They repair Teo, and he gets like right before he's about to race, he gets wrecked again. Like just,
Yeah.
and this time we're like, I don't think we'll be able to fix him.
Yeah.
Like he's just done. So what Tech right has to
Tech.
race.
Yep. Tech races. Yeah.
And through the whole episode too, when Teo was doing his maneuvers, he was super aggressive, and Tech was kind of like, "Why doesn't he use this more like defensive options?" They're like, "Cause that's not how you race," and that's exactly what Tech did. He did a whole different type of basically
Mm-hmm.
tech during the race, and he waited for them to make their big move on him with the Venom Crunch. He shifts to the side, the guy grapples the guy in front instead and pulls him aside, and wins the race. And that's basically
Right.
how that episode goes. But it's an episode I definitely recommend it just because you meet someone who might be a problem later, Malegi, who I think is going to
Mm-hmm.
be a bigger problem later in the series. And also, we learn a little bit more about Sid's past, which is interesting. And it was just a fun episode. So
Yeah.
but that was episode, I think 4 or 5.
4. Yeah,
Okay.
4.
And then
Because 5 was or was it 5? Was Treasure Hunt the first before that one?
that I'm not
The
sure, but
Treasure
why
Hunt?
don't you take over? Why don't you talk about the next episode, the treasure hunt one?
Yes, the Treasure Hunt one. I forget where they end up at, but they meet this. I won't necessarily say an ally, but they overhear. The lady's name is Fee. This is a new character. She overhears the Bad
Played by
Batch.
Wanda Sykes, by the way.
Wanda Sykes, yes. They're getting, like you said for the last episode, the voice actor was from Parks and Recreation. They're getting a lot of actors to play these characters, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, so she overhears the Bad Batch talking. And did she already have like a map? Oh no, they discover something, right?
Yeah, so
They
I believe
discover
Omega
like
has that trinket,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she realizes, which by the way, this trinket looks really cool, man. It looks like super old, and it almost reminded me of that episode in Clone Wars where it was like the light and the dark planet.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there was like all these symbols
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
around. It kind of reminded me of that. But yeah.
So yeah, did they put it in front of a droid
Mm-hmm.
and it shows like a map? It's like, oh yeah, let's go to this. So I can't remember. It's been a while too, so I can't remember if they know what is all at this place, or they just know there's a treasure.
From what I know, yeah, Fee knows that there's some sort of treasure in this place that she's
Right.
heard of. But that's as far as
So
I know.
so long story short, they go there and they unleash this big, long neck weapon that is almost like a small version, or like we'll say is like the beginning type of a Death Star.
Okay.
And this is possibly where maybe Sidious got his, or the Emperor got his idea from this thing.
Never know.
Never know.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. But this thing is like a long neck, and we were just discussing this before we started. If you ever played Zero Dawn Horizon, there's like this long neck thing
It did
that,
kind of remind me of that too.
yeah.
It did.
So it's like if you imagine a dinosaur that has or better yet, a giraffe has a long neck, and on the top of his head is like a saucer type, and it shoots a red beam out.
Yeah, it's super destructive
Mass
for sure,
destruction,
which
yeah.
kind of reminds you of the Death Star a little bit, actually, because
Right.
it's just like one massive beam that destroys a lot.
So at the end of the episode, they decide like, yeah, we have to destroy this because we don't want this to get in the wrong hands. This is too much of a big threat. I can't remember, did Fee want to keep it, or
At first, because she wants the treasure. So
yeah, exactly.
she
And
wants
that's
to
how
take
all
it.
treasure hunters are.
It felt like an episode of Indiana Jones, dude.
Yeah, it was definitely.
It definitely
Jones.
did, which didn't bother me. Even the music was kind of like Temple of Doom music going on,
Right.
you know, through the
We
episode.
we want this treasure, but if it gets in the wrong hands, it's shit creek. So they end up destroying it at the end. And we might see. I can imagine Fee returning back, you know, in the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if this weapon gets utilized later in the series, or if it plays a part in anything else.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, is this anime? Is this a filler episode, or is this
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
gonna come back later and really like be a big deal? Because that artifact, because of how old it was, kind of interested me more,
Right.
and might be more valuable than we think. But I don't know for sure,
Right,
obviously.
right.
But I hope it just wasn't a wasted episode. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
fun episode, but I kind of want just more continuity. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
And that's how I'm feeling. The except this next episode we're about to talk about, but those 2 episodes, 4 and 5, I felt like they were just fillers.
Mm.
I think the only episode that had some continuity was the one with Crosshair, which was what, episode 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one that really like, okay.
Yeah, where they go to
something's
Desix.
familiar. Something
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say 1 and 2 because the soldiers, or the Empire reports back to whoever. So
Oh yeah, for
I guess
sure.
the first 3 episodes had some continuity, but
Yeah.
4 and 5 didn't really feel like anything until they connected back in at the next few episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll go to episode 6, which is called Tribe. And we get a returning character from
I was
the Clone
losing
Wars.
my mind during this episode, dude.
Right.
That's my wife. I literally was screaming. I was like, ah!
Right. So go ahead. You got the excitement.
Oh, well, dude, so it starts out like it almost felt like another filler episode. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they're going to meet these people to offload some treasures so they can get paid. I think it was chain codes to fool the Empire.
Yeah.
And Omega isn't waiting by the ship because she's a pain in the ass and
Wanders
always
off like
has to
any kid.
wander off, yeah, like any
Yeah.
kid. But it's a good thing she did, because they were about to like move this Wookiee, who kind of looked familiar to me. I know all Wookiees look the same, but he looked familiar to me, and even my
Right.
wife said the same thing, and I was like, I wonder. So anyway, they're moving him into this cage almost, and she stops him because they're like hurting him, and she like
Yeah.
hits him with the bow thing, and she saves him, and they start running away, and more of them come after her, and then Tech and either Tech or Echo get involved, and then the rest of the Bad Batch get involved because they're about to be pinned down. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
so cool because there's this part where the robot turns to say something to someone else, and you see the Wookiee doing this. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
it's him! It's the same Wookiee from the Clone Wars, the one who is
Right.
training, the one who went into the caves to make his kyber crystal, to
Right.
find his
Right.
kyber
Right.
crystal to make his sword. We're like, dude, I knew it was him, I knew it was him. So like we're losing our minds. But yeah, I was really excited to see him a little bit more grown up and obviously you know, a
That's
fugitive
gotten a
from
lot
the
better.
Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Got a lot better with his powers.
yeah.
I believe the way you pronounce his name is Gunji.
Mhm.
Um, so they get him and they go to Kashyyyk and they meet with they before they reach the other Wookiees, they come across these aliens, which I like because they showed like more of the wildlife of Kashyyyk,
Mhm.
and you get these spider slash praying mantis species.
Yeah.
And was it like if they won't attack you if they don't find you as a threat?
Yeah, basically
Yeah,
just
so they have to
chill
put
out
down
and
the
you'll be
weapons.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're freaky looking too because it's like they come from above and they have like 6 legs
They
and
almost look like they were running out of ideas to make this.
right. Yeah. There's like a little quick put together,
Yeah.
huh? And then so Wookiees come and they come on these giant like monkey, flying squirrel
Yeah,
things,
they
which
look cool.
I thought they were cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's kind of cool because like Wookiees are already tall already, and you see them get on something even bigger. And so they meet with like I forget, it's like an elder Wookiee. He's like, yeah, I don't know where my
Yeah.
tribe is at. I don't know what clan I belong to. Um, and so I think
And they
they're
really
going to
never said either in the whole episode. They really never said anything about what clan
yeah,
they
because I
belong
think when they
to.
went to go searching, that's when they came across these, I don't know if they're bounty hunters or these mercenaries
Mm-hmm.
that were the species of Bosk, who's a bounty hunter. They're what's how's
Transdoshan, I think.
Transdoshan, yeah. And they acquired some vehicles from the separatists. They have one of the separatist tanks.
Yeah. So they're
They
kind of
got a
working
few
for
of
the
them.
Empire.
Yeah, they got a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Oh
come
yeah, there
across
was some
that.
stormtroopers down there, huh?
Yeah, they come
Yeah.
across that, and I would say this is probably the best fight scene so far this series.
Dude, I thought Gunji cut off that dude's arm, but it turns out he just he cut the the blaster.
Yeah,
But it looked like he cut off his arm for a second. I was like, ah! And I was like, oh, it's
yeah.
just a blaster. He cut a cannon, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took out
So
the thing with his lightsaber, which is sick too.
yeah, so it was a good sequence, a fight sequence, and everybody has a piece in it. Well, you know what? I don't think did Omega do anything really?
Not much. In the beginning
Yeah,
of the episode, she did. She took out some guys and stuff like that, with her bow. But
yeah.
yeah,
But everybody else had played a part. It was a nice episode.
yeah, it was a pretty solid episode for sure.
I can't remember what happened at the end though.
I was almost hoping they recruit him, man, because he's a misfit like them, right? He's
Yeah,
lost. He doesn't really have anywhere. I mean, I guess you could say he belongs in Kashyyyk, but come on, he's a Jedi on the run. He should be with them,
right.
So I hope he comes back later though, because I've been
Yeah,
wanting to see him for a long time.
and you know what I thought about? This plays all in the part. The way they could do this to connect everything is if how would they do this though? They'll probably, I don't know if they'll come up with another episode or another spinoff, but you know the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors are the ones who hunt down the Jedi's.
Yeah, and I think they did report that a Jedi was there. I know
Right.
that guy said don't report it because I'm not if I get him first. But at the same time, there was a stormtrooper there. He probably
Yeah.
reported it, so that could come back
Um.
later. I didn't think
And
of that.
and to speak on the Inquisitors, I was reading upon some of all the Inquisitors because I think there's like 9 or 10 of them.
Hmm.
So all the Inquisitors, for those that don't know, those are the they're once fallen Jedi. Some of them are fallen Jedi's, and some of them are just force sensitive people that Darth Vader got to and just turned them to these Inquisitors. So then they're not necessarily Sith. They're just like a dark side force user.
Hmm.
And then you see about I think you see like maybe 4 or 5 of them in the Kenobi show. There's the third sister who I think her name is Riva, and then you get the Master Inquisitor,
Hmm.
right? And then I think you get like the second brother, this and that. And then you also see like I think 2 Inquisitors in the Jedi Fallen Order game.
It's so funny too how you can't really call them Sith because once they become full blown Sith, someone's gonna die because there can only
Yeah.
be two Sith. That's the rule, right? A master and apprentice. That's it.
And you
So
know what? Now that you say that, that's probably why Vader did that. He's like, I'm not gonna make you a Sith, but I'm gonna make you something close to it.
yeah,
So you guys won't turn your back
I'm
on
gonna
me.
make you strong, but not
Yeah.
that strong.
Right. So and that's crazy because that goes into the sequels of how there's only one Sith and that was Palpatine. But
Hmm.
Kylo Ren is not considered a Sith. He's like a I guess you call him like an unaligned force user. And
Yeah, I
then
guess
his
you could
knights
say that.
and then the Knights of Ren are not Sith either. That's like his little posse also.
They're just more like dark side users.
Right. I don't think they ever called Rey a Jedi. Did they ever call her a Jedi?
I
She was
don't
never
know.
considered a
I mean,
Jedi, right?
yeah, I don't think she was ever really a full blown Jedi, but at the same time, who
Yeah,
knows? I
the
mean, they
only
might be
Jedi's in.
retcon and all that anyway. So,
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard that. I think the only Jedi's in the sequels were Luke and Leia.
mm,
Everybody else was just considered like a Force user.
yeah,
Speaking of that, I was reading last thing about the sequels. I was reading about that how they just like episode 7 was great, right? And then 8 and 9 just ruined everything
yeah, I really
they're
enjoyed
like
episode 7.
they're like, yeah, how is like because they're like Ray has no like good backstory.
Hmm.
She you get introduced to her, she's just like a scavenger, but she is just as powerful as Kylo Ren, who
Yeah.
has years of training,
And her story
and
was
she's
what she's
just
a descendant of basically, or not a descendant, but an actual relative of some sort of
right,
Palpatine, right?
right, granddaughter, yeah.
Yeah,
But she has no training in that. But she's when she first meets Kylo Ren, she's able to withstand his like
yeah.
mind reading, and everybody's like, yeah, the person who had like a better story was Finn because he got taken away at a young age from his family, forced to
Hmm.
become a stormtrooper,
Yep.
and then at the end of episode 9, you kind of could tell that he's force sensitive,
Yeah.
and he was able to pick up a Jedi and actually did some. He actually kind of fought Kylo Ren for a second.
Yeah.
So everybody thought he would be a Jedi, but then he just ends up just being like a hero.
Yeah.
But then that's also a good story because he's a stormtrooper and he's kind of like a coward. He's just trying to get away.
Yeah.
But at the end of the series or the sequel, he becomes his hero. Like he's the hero. Oh, Finn, the hero. You're the Finn. Oh yeah, I'm Finn. Yeah. But anyways, that's it about Bad Batch. I read that like sometime earlier this week. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bad Batch is how many? Do we know how many episodes?
I don't. My guess would be 12, but I don't know for sure.
Just like the last season.
Yeah, I had to look.
Okay. All right. So next we're going to let's go to The Last of Us before we
The
get
Last of
to
Us? Okay.
DC. Yeah.
Sure.
So episode 2 was last week.
Yeah. Why did you
Uh,
start? Because I know you didn't finish episode 1 when we talked. I think the last thing you talked about that you got to on episode 1 was the part where he wakes up with Tess.
Oh yeah. So they get Ellie, who Ellie was captured by the Fireflies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they're doing their own set of tests on her to see if she's really like immune to the bites.
You want to use your one F-bomb?
I think I used it last time. I want to save it. I want to save it.
All right.
um, but yeah, so Joel and Tess they strike a deal to where they're supposed to meet with the Fireflies because like they're trying to get a battery for their car or for a car. And so I think they meet up to where they're supposed to meet up, and somebody's already attacked them, right? Somebody attacked their connection.
um, yeah. So right, because they try to, yeah. So Tess tries to get a battery for the car because Joel needs to go help his brother Tommy, or wants to
Mm-hmm.
anyway. And the battery's bad, and they kidnap her. It's like because everything goes sideways, I guess, or
Yeah,
something like that. And then as she's being held hostage, something a tank blows up or something like that, or a vehicle blows up of some sort. And I think that was by the Fireflies, and she gets free.
yeah,
And then they do the same thing to the Fireflies Marlene group. They try to sell them the bad battery too.
yeah,
And that's when everything gets all shot up.
right. And that's when they meet Ellie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they meet Ellie, and they're at a standoff. Is Ellie in the middle, and Joel and Tess on one side, and then Marlene and another girl on the other side. And Marlene and the other girl are already like beat up. They know they probably can't make it to where they need to go, so they strike a deal with Joel and Tess that hey, this is a valuable cargo. We need you to deliver it. So they agree because they made a good offer, and they go. They're trying to get outside the walls, and they come across one of the officers that Joel has been supplying stuff to. And the officer's like, yo, I told you not to come out around this time. I can't believe this shit. Like, I have to like take you in now.
Yeah, and Joel's been supplying him with like meds. So like
Yeah,
he's basically on something to try to help him forget all the atrocities that he's done so far in his job, and I
right,
guarantee he is medicated at this point
right.
right now when they find him. So, yeah.
So yeah, so there's a standoff, and Joel just has a flashback because he sees that officer pointing his gun at them,
Sarah. Yep.
and he just has a flashback to his daughter, and he's like, "It's not going to happen again."
Nope.
Attacks the guy, and does he kill him?
Attacks him, goes ballistic on the guy, dude. He basically almost breaks his hand on his face.
Right.
Yeah, he definitely kills him, dude. He smashed his
And
face in so many
Tess is looking like,
times.
oh my gosh. And Ellie is like, she's like, you can't. You really can't tell the emotion on her face. It's almost like she likes it. She's terrified, but she likes it at the same time.
Mm,
Like this is something like this that she been wanting to see.
yeah.
And you find out later on in the show that she hasn't really gone out much.
Is this the time too when they capture her that they notice that she has the thing already? She gets
Yeah, right
yeah,
after,
because they test her,
right
right?
afterwards. Yeah. Because
Mm-hmm.
Tess sees her, it's like, oh, she's bitten. And she's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And Joe's about to go, like, about to shoot her. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, look, this is a week old. Like this, or it was longer than a week, huh? Like 2 weeks old.
10, yeah, at least 10 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, I haven't even changed yet. And Ellie convinces her and this and that. And I don't think Ellie, not that at that moment, but Ellie tells him later, um, what she is and why she's valuable and everything. So they go into town. You get some scenery of are they in, no, they're not in Boston. Where they at? New York or something?
I don't know the exact place to be honest, but I thought the scenery like that they showed that wide scene looked
Mm-hmm.
just like from the game, which I thought was so cool.
Right.
So yeah, and then we pretty much go into episode 2.
Right. So
Right?
episode 2, they enter a building. They're going through. They've been through this before, so this is a route that Joel and Tess know about.
And that reminds me
Um,
exactly of the game. That's one part that I do remember to the game. Being inside the building and
mm-hmm.
climbing up stuff and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So they go through it. They go into this flooded area, and I think they see a skeleton, right? Like a dead person.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ellie finds it, and Joel and Tess are like, "Yo, you gotta be quiet, okay? Because we are going to some dangerous area, to the danger zone." And sure enough, they get to a point to where are they called tickers? They're called tickers, right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, clickers.
Clickers. There we go.
Yeah.
So they come across one, and it is so intense because I think there's two of them, right?
And it's so cool too because they're going up the stairs because they see something, and then they're like, if you haven't played the game or anything, you don't know what they're talking about." Bitch is like, I didn't hear anything."
Right.
It's like, okay, I guess we're safe. So they're listening
Mm-hmm.
for the clicker. You don't know it yet, but that's what they're listening for. They didn't hear nothing, and then they go into that one room and they hear them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So go ahead.
And I have to say, they did the clicker justice. The
So,
way,
dude,
the
so cool.
makeup, and most of all, the movement. The movement was so on point. I was like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, HBO, you're doing something right. Here we go. And they all have to be quiet because if you guys haven't played the game, the clickers they go by sound. They don't see. Their faces all deformed, and they don't go by smell either.
Yeah, the fungus like
Um,
took over both of their face. Like it's just they have no eyes anymore.
yeah. So there's right now there's you see two types of infected. There's ones who are like they have the eyesight. They're just right after like being a human,
Yeah.
and they got ones who have advanced and their face is kind of deformed. They have like fungus growing out of it, like kind of like a hard helmet type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
like a shell helmet.
By this
So there's
time
a
too, did they tell her that they're all connected? So if you hit one, ones that are even like a mile away can
no, I
sometimes
think that's
sense
it.
it.
I think that's later on.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still in this building, and there's this part where Joel is like behind the wall, and he's trying to reload his gun, and they did this part good too because everything is quiet, and you can feel like the dang. If I was in this moment, will I? Here's my F bomb. Will I fuck it up for everybody? I'm trying to reload my gun as quiet as
There's always a
possible.
moment in every show too where it's like, who's gonna mess this up? Who's gonna
Right.
get him caught?
And you would think it would be Ellie,
Yeah.
but Joel actually stepped on something.
Yep.
As soon as he steps
Glass
on
or
something,
something.
he goes, oh shit. And sure enough, the
Yeah.
clicker jumps over and they fight.
Quick.
And then
That thing reacted like
yeah. And then another one pops out somewhere. And I forget how did they killed them both, right? They killed both of them?
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah. I forget how they killed them, but they got out. But come to find out, Tess got bitten. And you don't know Tess gets bitten until they get to the meeting area, the rendezvous area where they're supposed to meet up with other fireflies.
Yeah, where all those
But
guys are dead.
Yeah, they're all dead. So shit just doesn't go right. This is like a third time shit doesn't go right. And Tess is furious. And she hasn't told them yet, but Ellie figures out. She's like, oh shit, you're bitten.
Yeah.
And that's when you'll see like infected crawling on the floor, and Joel shoots them in the head.
And it
and
triggers the other ones. That's
yeah.
right.
Then you see, I think it's coming from their hand or maybe from the mouth, but you see the fungus starts like reacting, and it starts reacting off the other dead bodies. And before we get to that, you see a swarm of them just chilling on the street, and they all start reacting. They all start running to where Joel and everybody's at.
Yeah, and they got to be like 100 yards away at least, or farther than that, and they still felt it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, maybe half a mile. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
Joel hears it. He looks. He's outside. He says, "Yo, we got like a minute's tops. Let's do something fast." Tess knows like she's already been. She knows what's gonna happen, and she actually makes a sacrifice.
Starts throwing grenades on the floor and like
spilling the
dumping
gasoline.
all the gas. Yeah,
that was a crazy moment too because like it's like they know like they all run past her because they probably feel like, oh, that's one of us right there. But one,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, one stops and is like, hold on, wait a minute. Starts getting closer and everything, and she's trying to light her lighter and can't get it, and he just gets close to her and
gives her a smooch.
Give her a smooch in the mouth, and she's like taking it, and she finally lights it.
Yeah,
goes on the floor and blows it up.
I guess that lighter's from the game apparently too.
Yeah. So then that was like the end of
or something.
That was the end of the second episode. And Joel, he's like, he doesn't want to show emotion. He's just like upset, you know. So now we go into the third episode, which starts off. It starts like the first third of the episode starts off with Joel and Ellie. They go to one of his stops, one of his underground layers, or one of his like stops he knows, to like get some more equipment and supplies. And then you can tell this is where, you know, the kind of like the bond is starting to happen
a little bit, yeah,
between them. You know, they just lost Tess, but Ellie is still trying to make conversation, and Joel is kind of lightening up a little bit.
I like where she kind of tells him off, to be honest. She's like, don't apologize for Tess. I don't want to hear it. It's like, I wasn't going to apologize. You guys needed something. You took a mission. She went. That's not my fault.
Right.
You know? Just kind of laid it down, and he was just like, basically saying, cool, you know?
Yeah.
But don't talk about Tess, basically is what he said. And then they kind of moved on to, that spot where, I agree. The bond's kind of happening. So.
Yeah. They start by like a gas station or something like that, or a liquor store, where he's hidden something.
When you see the old Mortal Kombat machine,
right?
MK2, like, man.
Oh yeah, MK2.
It would have been funny if it was the MK4 machine with Shinnok staring at you. That would have been hilarious, man. You ever see those memes, the Shinnok memes, MK4 machines, and it's that guy's face. Sorry.
After that that scene, it jumps over to, was it 8 years before or 8 years prior?
Yeah. Or one last thing I'd like to say about that scene before we get to that, because we will get to that because that's important. But Ellie goes away from Joel a little bit to kind of her own little place to look for things, while Joel's looking for whatever he stashed. And she goes down into this hole, and she sees one of them. He can't get away, like one of the, because
he has a whole bunch of debris on him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of the fungus people, but he can't move. There's no way. So she goes right up to him with her knife and cuts a little piece of him open, and all you see is like this stuff, like this fungus stuff, like come out of him too. He doesn't even bleed. It's just this. It almost looks like you're cutting into a couch.
Yeah.
Right? But dude, this girl's, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like to prove that she's not scared or what, but I thought that was kind of weird that she just walks up to him, cuts him open like it's nothing, and then he finds whatever and leaves. I thought that was kind of
And
important.
Then she stabs him.
Yeah, and she kills him. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I forgot the best part. But right. Yeah, but go ahead.
So yeah, after that, they walk off. They find. That's the part we can't skip. So he's like, yeah, let's cut across the woods. She's like, no, let's stay on the road. He's like, no, you don't want to see this. She's like, come on, dude. And so they go across this pit area. There's a whole bunch of skeletons. And he's like, yeah, the military did this. And she's like, doesn't look like they're infected. She's like, they don't care. Like what did it say? Reason why they didn't take people alive is because dead people can't become infected. So that's basically,
right.
The military just doesn't take no chances. Let's kill these people. That's how we know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts to like 10 years prior or something like that, 8 years prior.
Yeah, something like that.
When it first happened.
Yeah,
and you want to take it from there? I don't remember this from the game. This must be like a
It's not in the game. Yeah. No. Okay. It's basically just telling a deeper story. Because again, I didn't play the game to this point, so you probably know more about at least Bill than I do. Mm-hmm. But basically, Bill in the game, from what I read, had a partner named Frank, who it pretty much alluded that they were partners, like together,
Mm-hmm.
But it's never like, I guess, fully said in terms,
right.
But they just wanted you to know that that was their relationship. You could tell that in the game he had like deep feelings for this guy Frank who died. So in the game, Bill's dead, and of course Frank's dead too. But in this, they go back to basically Bill. When everything's going down, he hides like in his house in a cellar that no one knows about. It's like under It's like under a like a dresser or something.
Yeah.
And he comes up and the dresser lifts up and he's just got this ladder out. It reminded me of remember Red when he goes into his house and it's actually his car that they go down. You ever seen that movie Red?
Red. Oh, with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, retired, extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Okay,
John Malkovich. Yeah, it reminded me of that, right? It didn't look at all like an entrance, but that was the entrance. So the entrance to his cellar is actually flip up his dresser, and there it is. So he comes out.
A conspiracist. He like knew, waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, he was waiting for the apocalypse. He was ready. There's tons of guns everywhere in his place. It's just like he's ready. So he comes out and he's got this mask. And basically, he knows that everyone's gone, so he just starts living it up. Like, he's the only one in there. He gets his car. He goes to the hardware store, starts making traps. He's, like, having the time of his life.
He goes to the power plant.
And turns on all the gas. So,
turns everything back on.
He's super smart, basically.
Right.
Like,
he knew, he'd been planning this.
Yeah.
As soon as the power went out, he's like, oh, well, it looks like we're going to the power plant and turn this back on.
And then, so... I don't know how many years went by or anything.
I think at first it was like 2 or 3.
Okay. Yeah. So he's been at it for a while. He has tons of traps set up. He's good to go. And he basically hears an alarm. Someone fell into one of his traps. And it's Frank.
Mm-hmm.
So he lets him out and he basically tells him, all right, go away. He's like, and Frank says, I'm really hungry. And Phil's like, this isn't an Arby's. He's like, well, Arby's isn't free. You know, he's like, whatever. So he takes him in, feeds him, and then he sees this piano, and it's, what's the song that it was? Like Long, Long Road Home or Long, Long Way Home, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But basically, he starts playing. He can't stand how he's playing. So he gets on and plays, and he plays it beautifully and sings it beautifully, and they basically have a moment, you know what I mean? And I'm just going to say that they stay together for the rest of the time. And later on, you find out that a few more years later, and this is why it's important, Joel and Tess met them.
Mm-hmm.
They're all having dinner together. By the way, Bill's hilarious during this whole dinner. He's got a gun right there the whole time. Like aimed at Joel, and he's like, "I get it, man. It's cool." He's fine with the gun just being aimed at him the whole dinner. Frank and Tess are like buddies, like they've been together forever, and they're going on in the house having a good time. And the two of them are out there talking like, "I get it," and Joel says, "I get it, but you're not safe here. You need things. I have things. You have things that I need. We can trade."
Right.
So basically it kind of becomes this thing. And they also have this awesome idea too, which is what you hear about in like one of the first episodes. The radio stations tell the situations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if it's like the 80s, it's something. If it's the 90s, it's something.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it was, but that's basically how it all got started apparently with Bill and Frank. And so Tess and him leave. And just like Joel said, but again, I think he gave him something to more fortify his gate because he looked ready for those raiders, like way more than he would have normally. Like there was like flamethrowers going off.
Yeah.
And he had a sniper rifle. But yeah, these raiders come just like Joel said. But Bill's ready. He does get shot in the middle of like the fight, but Frank grabs him, heals him up, and you think that Bill's gonna die. Right? Because it looks like he's going to die. It does.
Yeah, on the table.
Mm-hmm. It definitely looks like Bill's going to die, and it flashes forward another, like, wow, a lot. I think 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
They're both still alive, but Frank is, like, kind of done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's got some sort of illness or something like that, and he's in a wheelchair, and, you know, they're going together. And they decide to, like, have their last meal together, basically. And then they both put something in the wine or something like that, and they both die, like right in the room together.
But let's really give the details. Frank was the one that wanted to go, and Bill's like, "Well, you're not going alone.
Yeah,
we're dying together." So
That's true.
So cute.
It was a
So
beautiful
cute.
moment.
It was a
Kinda
beautiful moment. And then
different than the games though, because in the game, Bill's alive.
yeah. And so we get to we find out that Joel and Ellie are actually headed there, or they actually reached there. So
Yeah,
just
because
like
he
you
knows the
mentioned,
code and everything to the gate.
yeah,
And
he
all
knows the
that.
code to the gate.
Yeah.
He goes there, and Joe knows something is wrong because he sees like the flowers are dead. Because they, Joel and Bill and Frank had made like a garden and stuff like that. They had like a routine. But when
Mm-hmm.
Joe gets there, he's like, okay, the flower bed, they're dead right here. Something's going on. Enters the door, and they find a letter. Ellie reads it, and basically saying it's like a note, like, "Hey, if you're reading this, we're dead. Don't come in the room. We kept the door windows open because we don't want the smell." And then Ellie's about to read the last part, and she stops, and Joe snatches, and then yeah, so he reads that. It says, "Take her tests," and that put Joe back in a moody mood, and he tells Ellie like, "Look, I'm gonna take you to this place, so this lab, this and that, but there's three things." He's like, "Do as I say when I say. Don't bring up tests again." And he says something else. I forgot. And Ellie's like, "Yeah, I got it." Um, they restock, get some weapons and stuff like that, and he has a shitload of weapons. But
Yes, he does.
Joe knows like he
He's
can't.
ready.
Yeah, he's ready. They get the truck. The truck doesn't have a battery in it, but Bill had all the stuff to make a battery,
Mm-hmm.
and Joe makes it, and they leave off in the truck, and they Ellie and Joel have another moment, like a bonding moment, to where they're Barbara what's that singer's name? There's a song playing on the radio, and just like, oh no, leave it here.
Yeah,
This
it's
is,
the
you know what
same
this
song
is?
that he played on the
Yeah.
piano the first time that Bill and Frank met. But I don't know what
So
it is.
right.
I'll have to look that up because that I didn't think of what the song was. I thought it was like Long Road Home or something, or Long Road Home, Long Way Home,
Right.
something like that.
So yeah, and that was the end of the episode.
Okay. And I like the last part, the very end of the part where they pull away, and then it's peering into the window, which you never see the bodies. Thankfully, I was really glad. I didn't want to. I didn't want to see the decayed bodies.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool how they did that in an artistic way. That part with the window.
And didn't the radio come on? Oh no. That was the episode one.
Oh yeah, I was in episode 1. Yeah, that the radio came on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going into what we've been waiting for a while now.
Man, so long I've been waiting for this.
James Gunn's DC slate.
Okay.
So, James Gunn has a 10-year plan. I think it's probably going to expand. But he answers some questions. So we already know that Matt Reeves, the Batman, and the Joker were not part of the DCEU.
Yeah, they're gonna call that DC Elseworlds.
Yeah, and James Gunn is going to keep it that way and say, yeah, this is Elseworld. We want to separate it. So they're probably most likely going to change like the logo or like the intro to those movies to make sure that it's very different and people could tell like, okay, this has nothing to do with DCU. This is Elseworld. And then he's coming up with these shows. So he has an animated one called Creature Commandos, which I've never heard of, but I think
the only one that I saw that looked familiar, I think, was that Weasel guy. He looked like he was from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they said Weasel is in there, and I think you're the one that told me that James Gunn likes, like building on characters who don't have a big name.
Yeah, he does.
And that's why he did Guardians of the Galaxy, because I didn't know about Guardians of the Galaxy, but James Gunn, he picked that one and he knew he could do something with it. So we just gotta trust him. So yeah, Creature Commandos. We have a spin-off of Waller.
Yeah.
Which
I think is going to be a TV show. It's live action, but it's not a film.
So I'm not sure if they. Oh yeah, they said they're going to keep Viola Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is supposed to be its own spinoff or this is supposed to be like Peacemaker Part 2. I'm pretty sure they'll cross reference it somehow.
Yeah, probably there will be at least some sort of cameos, or at least maybe an episode or two when they might be involved, something like that.
Right. So then we get to James Gunn's Superman. So we know he got rid of Henry Cavill for now because he wanted a younger Superman. And so he's calling this one Superman Legacy.
Yep. And he's doing it himself. Like this is
Yeah.
his pet project right now that he's working on.
I think he said that he's almost done writing it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But it says it's supposed to come out in 2025. So we'll see what's going on. Hopefully we stick to that date.
Okay.
2025 will be here before we know it.
Yeah, I mean we're older now, so time flies much faster for us.
Right.
Than you kids out there.
So I know before James Gunn took over, they were talking about doing an HBO Lantern Corps HBO series. So it looks like he's taking an idea and making it his own thing. And I heard he has James Gunn has like a video out about this. So he says he's gonna have it's gonna be called like Lanterns.
Yep, this is exactly what it's called. Yeah.
And it's gonna be focused on the two main lanterns. I forget their names.
Hal Jordan and I believe who is it? John something, whatever his name was.
John Stewart.
John Stewart. Okay.
And they say it's supposed to be like a how do they describe it? Like a detective type of thing in the galaxy.
Yeah, which sounds cool, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Yeah. And it's a TV show, so but one of those streaming TV shows where they can just put the episodes they need out to make it good, no more, no less, no filler, all that stuff, so they can just tell a really good story. Because you can't make that a film. I don't think it would work. But if you could do it a TV series where they don't even know each other, and then they meet, within like 3 episodes, it could be really good.
Yeah. So then we get the Authority, which sounds interesting. So the way he put it is that the Authority are a bunch of superheroes.
Yeah, I guess there's some superhero team called Wildstorm, which I'm going to look into what that is.
Okay.
I'll go from there, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. They say that the Authority is a bunch of superheroes who know like the world is like just bad, it's ruined, it's tainted. And they think they're above everybody else.
Yeah, they're going to fix it.
And they're going to put it in their own hands to fix it. So it sounds interesting. I'm excited what he plans on doing with this. What he plans to do with this.
And that one, The Authority, is going to be a film. So that's going to be a movie.
Yeah. So then we get Paradise Lost, which is Wonder Woman's island.
Mm-hmm.
And this is supposed to be like pre-Wonder Woman, before she becomes Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So Mascara, is that what's called?
Mascara. Yep.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be all about. I think it tells like. I hope what he plans to do with this is he brings it back to like the gods of how they make all this and why they chose only women to be on this island.
That'd be very cool.
They expand on that. So I'm pretty excited what they're going to do with this.
From what people are talking about, it's going to be more like Game of Thrones on Themyscira.
Yeah.
So which would be awesome.
Right. And so then we get to the Batman he's choosing to do. And it's going to be Batman, the Brave and the Bold.
I can't tell if this is the one I'm most excited about or a different one, but I'm really excited about this one.
Right. And I thought this was a bold, no pun intended. It was a bold move.
Pun intended, you liar. Did that on purpose.
Because the only Brave and the Bold I heard about was the cartoon, which I thought was interesting. But then he's choosing Damian as Robin.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, this is going to be Batman in his like maybe 10th year.
Yeah, if not more.
Because Damon, when he meets Damon's already like a preteen already.
But dude, if you ask me, that's good. I don't need to see, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't need to see Martha Wayne die again. All right? Martha and Thomas, I've seen it enough. Just take me past that. We all know how it happens. We know Batman's story. Everybody knows Batman's story. You don't need to tell it again. I love that they're doing this. I think it's a cool idea for sure.
It's a cool idea, yeah. And this probably kind of, I don't know.
Think
I don't
about
know
what
what you play.
characters are going to be in there too, man. Because
Right,
this is
right,
a
and that's
long
what
time, right? Batgirl, Nightwing, like all this
right.
stuff, right?
Because he does say this is like the introduction to the Bat family. This is going to start off the Bat family.
Cool.
The only thing I was thinking about is like, okay, Jason Todd was Robin before
Red
Damian
Hood?
was.
Yeah,
So are
dude.
we going to skip that Robin and go straight to Red Hood? Like, is he already there? And then we get Nightwing. So we probably already tell that Nightwing's already here. He's not Robin.
Yeah.
He's not Dick. Dick Grayson's already
No,
Nightwing.
he's definitely Nightwing.
Yeah. So this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. I love the animated movies that come out with where Damien's in there.
Oh man,
Have you
so
seen the new
funny. The
one?
first one is so funny. No, I want to watch it. You're talking about the Super Sons?
Yeah, the Super Sons.
That's the next one I'm watching. It finally
Yeah,
popped up on HBO Max. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna
It's
watch
pretty
that.
cool. It's pretty cool. I like it.
I did finally
So,
watch Injustice, by the way.
oh, you watching Justice?
I
What do you
did
think
finally
about
watch that. Yeah.
it? I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It got a lot of bad reviews.
I
But
was
I
shocked.
thought it was good.
Man, I was shocked when Nightwing died.
Yeah,
That was crazy. Couldn't
yeah.
believe it.
They don't show that in the game, but if you read the comics,
Mm,
that's what happens.
yeah.
But yeah, Damien is in the animated movies. Is a good.
He's badass.
Yeah, he's badass. And Batman is like holding his patience. Like, oh my gosh, dude, this is so hard. So this should be interesting. The Brave and the Bold. And we gotta wonder if this is gonna be when Batman takes Damien under his wing, like he finds out he has a son, or is this is going to be like they're already established already? Like,
I hope it's not that. I hope it's that he finds out that he has a son. I think that'd be better because I don't think everyone knows about Damian Wayne.
Right.
I think you need to tell that story.
Right.
And I think that's what'll make it interesting.
That'll be That's a better take on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a better start.
I think if you start with him there, people are going to be like, "What?"
Right.
So yeah.
All right. So then let's go down. Booster Gold. Now, Booster Gold was this superhero that was like a failure, right?
Yeah, didn't he come like from the future or
Yeah,
something? But he
so
has all this future tech, so he kind of seems like a superhero, even though he's not.
Yeah,
Something
so this
like
is
that.
this is supposed to be a superhero that like it's just a failure. And then he gets a hold of his technology that he's able to go in the past and be like a superstar in the past. I think the way they put it.
Okay.
I think they mentioned Booster in like Justice League, the animated series.
Okay.
I think I've seen him in there. He's not like a main character, but
I think they put
like
him in Smallville too.
yeah. So that's interesting. This is supposed to be is this a movie or is this a series?
This one, Booster Gold, is actually
live
action. Okay. Yeah. So this one's gonna be a series.
This should be cool. Okay. Then we get Supergirl, and he's titling this Woman of Tomorrow, and this is supposed to be like off a recent comic, right?
Very recent comic, apparently. Yeah. And apparently it was a really cool story, but I don't know much about it.
I don't know much about it either.
I guess she grew up on like a small piece of Krypton or something like that, and a lot of people got killed. So she's kind of a more, I don't know, how would you put it, like seasoned Supergirl at least, where she has seen some stuff.
Yeah, and then this is supposed to be so this whole DC slate is almost like a small reboot, kind of. I guess it'll all make sense once we see like the Flash movie. And James Gunn did say that the Flash movie was pretty good. And he's probably saying that because he's like partnered with DC, but I've heard everybody say
but I guarantee he reworked it so that it's gonna actually retell the story a little bit, because it sounds like, just like what I was thinking, he made it kind of sound like the Flash movie will lead into what will be the DCEU. But Aquaman will be before that, but there is a way where it's gonna work, apparently.
Yeah.
So it should be okay.
So then we get Swamp Thing.
That's the other one I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah. You know what? I cannot find the series. So I know they came out with a series. Remember when DC had their own streaming service?
Know. Yeah.
I can't find that series because it's not on HBO.
Yeah.
I could have. I think I saw it on DVD one time or on Blu-ray.
Okay.
But,
was it good?
I haven't seen it, but I saw it like released on Blu-ray.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I can't remember. Oh yeah, yeah. Never mind. Swamp Thing is part of DC, but yeah, I wanted. Because I remember the old school movie that came out, and it had like a series also, and then he's my favorite character to play in Injustice 2. Um, so yeah, he's come out with the Swamp Thing. This is supposed to be a darker film. DC is already dark already, but this is supposed to be like a darker film.
Yeah.
So then if you guys haven't seen it, Mimosa did like a Jason what's his name?
Momoa.
Jason Momoa, yeah.
Yeah.
He did like a little Instagram video where he said he just got done talking to James Gunn, and he's like, yeah, he sounds confident and like, yeah, man, nobody ain't taking the Aquaman title away from me. I'm still Aquaman.
Yeah.
And then he said, plus some other characters, and people are saying that it's rumored that he's placing what's his name,
Lobo.
Lobo,
which would be so cool.
He has.
He looks just like Lobo.
Yeah, he just needs like the white face paint.
Yeah,
and he got it. And then I can just imagine him on that bike coming out, riding the sky.
Lobo's wild, dude. He'd be perfect for it.
Perfect. So, so that's why it's kind of like, if this is not really we probably say like a soft reboot, because they said they're going to keep Jason in there. They're still trying to decide if they're going to keep Ezra Miller in there as Flash.
I think that's just PR crap.
Yeah,
they're saying he's going through, at least if he completes rehab or whatever, they'll talk to him about it prior to that. But before they even consider keeping him, he's going to have to finish, whatever program he's in. If he has even seeked help, I'm not even sure if he's sought help yet. But
I think he's in rehab right now.
Okay, so if he finishes that, they'll at least consider it. But I think he's done.
Yeah. They scrapped the Wonder Woman 3 movie. And
they probably did that because of Themyscira, because of the Paradise Lost series that they're.
And I'm not sure if they're gonna recast Gal. What's her name? Gal Gadot.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they probably most will, but it sounds like they're keeping like all the original people on board or on standby in case they want to do something in the future, like maybe a Crisis on Earth.
Yeah, they could also do Elseworlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's room for all these things. I like that it's been done in a way, at least, where you can kind of go in any direction you want, and you can even use the older people if you want, So I thought that was cool. Good plan.
Yeah, and then to go back on the Supergirl is supposed to be different from the Supergirl that's supposed to be appearing in Flash. So it's supposed to be 2 different Supergirls. Just FYI.
Yeah, I believe that.
So we got the DC slate. It's supposed to start 2025. James Gunn has been, hitting a lot, so we'll see. It's looking good.
This is all I'll say. You can tell that he has all the freedom to do whatever he wants, because I don't think there's in a million years would this be approved otherwise.
Right.
The Authority? What?
Right.
Creature Commandos? Huh?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Brave and the Bold, maybe, but definitely not some of these other projects here. But they need a shakeup. I told you that before. Whatever they're doing isn't working. You got to try something different. And honestly, to me, most of these look really cool to me. So, I'm excited.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm excited. Especially for the Brave and the Bold. We're finally getting a Robin. And we're getting like the baddest one of them all. So starting off right.
He is a sick Robin. He's got a sword. A Robin with a sword is awesome.
He has a sword.
You know me, I love swords.
My grandfather is the master of the League of Assassins. Or what is it called? The Devil's Hand. What was he called? The Devil's Hand or something like that? The Devil's
Something
Right
like
Hand?
that, yeah.
Yeah. You always mentioned that. But yeah, it's looking good. I think that's it. Did you see that trailer for the Dark Knights series, TV series that's coming out?
No, tell me about it.
On CW? I haven't watched it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
But it's supposed to be...
Oh, Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, my bad.
Right. I heard about it, but there's an actual trailer now?
Yeah, there's been a trailer out there.
Okay.
And it looks confusing. Like, we don't know
All right.
Don't know what this is. We don't know if these are just kids who are inspired by Batman that taking it upon themselves to try to do something. But there is supposed to be a female Robin in there.
Do you want to watch it together?
Let's get it. We got 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Petty theft, grand larceny, assault.
Are you really the Joker's daughter? Is that why you murdered Batman?
Oh, dude, he's in it.
I am gonna find who did this.
With no Batman.
It's the
who's
guy
gonna
from
solve the
Supernatural.
murder of Bruce Wayne.
They think I killed my dad because I wanted his money?
I'm Robin.
Wait. So Bruce Wayne's dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, they did just mention Robin. You think that's Tim Drake?
The girl?
Oh, it's a girl Robin.
Yeah.
No kidding.
We have to go.
We're gonna find who really killed my dad.
Look around. A bunch of thieves turned fugitives. Joker's delusional daughter. A sidekick. Batman's orphan.
Anybody want to give me a crash course on being vigilante?
We will no longer live in fear.
Their new heroes are also their most wanted.
Who's that guy supposed to be? The one who plays who's Cass in Supernatural?
Don't know yet.
Oh, I wonder. Well, he was giving an announcement. I wonder if he's the mayor or maybe a new commissioner.
And fugitives.
Time to pick a side.
Gotham Knights. New series premieres Tuesday, March 14th. Free next day only on the CW
Ooh,
app.
it's coming soon.
Yeah. So we have Joker's daughter, supposedly daughter. They said Batman's son, but then they also mentioned like orphan. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Damien.
Joker's daughter, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. No way.
What?
They're saying that's Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent, huh? Was he cured? His face looks good. All right, I think that's gonna do it for this episode then.
It sure is. Until next time, everybody. We are Two Nerds Are Better Than One. My name is Ron DC and my co-host,
Mr. Awesome.
If you guys haven't already, follow us on YouTube. We are trying to get to 50 subscribers by March.
By March.
Make that happen. It's not that many. By March, 50 subscribers. And let's get some more listeners on Spotify. Ask us any questions, send an email, and we will be sure to respond back.
Yeah, leave some comments on the video.
Yes, sir. Till next time. See you guys later.
Later.